The audio for this show might just be scuffed. Alright, top story tonight. DOK haters of Khaine. Alright, are we ready? Full Buick reaction. Thank you for Facehammer for the clear pictures, aka
Twitch Prime.
one of the many men who read books. As splinters of the original Man Reads book. Slide 2, please. Please note, Mr. Woe, the following presentation begins with a lot of leaks you went over Friday. It do. I covered this. I left them in for reference for the rest of the book. Each are labeled as reviewed or new. God damn, look at this quality. Points on the left slide, the absolute production value. And we got some art in here as well. Crazy Ladies versus imitation Crazy Ladies, actually. You stopped following AOS last year because of school right about the time that the last DOK book come out, and you come by, yeah, and there's another one. Yeah, we got a lot of memes out of that one. Zuko Liberal, yep. Matter of fact, the rules writers at this exact moment are writing the next Daughters of Khaine book, even before this one is fully out. Games Workshop is just an elf company now. Only elf books. Lumineth 3, DOK 3. Right after STD in the winter, it's DOK 4. Daughters of Khaine and Lumineth will become a subscription service. Everybody else buys a battle tome, but you subscribe to these. They get updated so much. Sounds like someone practicing their drums. Yeah, I know. I hated it. I did a sound check. I heard it. It's because of the noise gate. So when I don't say anything, I set the noise gate pretty high so it doesn't pick up the AC, right? But if I do talk, the noise gate is removed on the mic, and it's going to hear all that stuff in the background, and it's just going to get punched by it. So it sounds, and I apologize, bad. Ready for yeah, Daughters of Khaine Plus. Alright, we went over these. We went over the temples. And the really, what would I say here? To me, the key point for the sub-factions of Daughters of Khaine is that this is how I wish they made every battle tome, but they just don't. They only make DOK like this for the most part. But all these sub-factions are great. They're just great. Pick which one you think is fun, and it's actually good. Pick the models that you like, and there is a playstyle that supports it. And there's a sub-faction, generally, that supports it as well. That's awesome. Hot damn, if only they did their jobs on more than just Daughters of Khaine books. It's like that fucking Simpsons picture where he's imagining the world without lawyers, and there's just rainbows and everyone's getting along, right? Hagnar is good. It adds one to the number of the current battle round when determining abilities gained by Blood Rights table, which is good. That's a good ability. Nice. Drachi Ganeth. It gives you +1 rend when you charge with Witch Elves or Sisters of Slaughter. That's sick. +1 rend and all you have to do is charge? God damn. What a great ability. Drachi Ganeth is great. Keltnar is probably the worst one, and Retreat and Charge is a strong ability. Retreat and Charge is really good. It's just, to me, it's maybe the odd man out. It's not really the one that I would like. K. LeBron James. You can use command ability at the end of your movement phase, and if you do, you just straight teleport. Hey, would you like a command ability teleport that can't fail? That's pretty good. It's not a spell, you can't unbind it. You don't roll a dice, right? It's not a prayer. It's no lightning chariot or whatever. Just a teleport. You kids go have fun, right? That's great. The Kraith, a little strength hammer action, the Kraith. After a friendly Sisters of Slaughter unit has fought for the first time in the combat phase, roll a die on a 4-up, you just straight fight again. But you have fights last, which is how they're templating it now. But, yeah, so also it functionally works the same as it used to, it's just more likely now. If you have Sisters of Slaughter, you can fight twice in combat on a 4-up, that's great. That's really good. Roll a dice, I know, it's roll a die, okay? The singular form of dice is die. This is a sticking point for me. I won't even fight you on putting O's where they don't belong, like in color and armor. You can be Armur, you can be Kalaur, all you want. You can shorthand math to be math, right? Because it started out plural, even though saying it is awkward. But the singular form of dice is die. A line in the sand. Okay. You won't dice on that hill? Good one. Spell armor is armor. Armour. Extra U. Oh, did I say extra U instead of extra O? I might have mixed it up. Maths. There it is. Yeah. And Xanthar Kai. Each time a model in a friendly Xanthar Kai Melusai unit is slain, the model can fight before it is removed from play. That's really good. That's really good. That's probably the best one. And we have a teleport, we have fights twice, we have get to that 5 up ward faster, we have +1 rend anytime you charge, which is so good, and I think this one is the best one, maybe. Automatic fight before you die. No rolling, it just, no close to a hero, it's not a command ability, it's just every snake. That's so good, that's so good. Anyway, long story short, your subfactions are awesome, and no matter what you're playing, really, you can find a subfaction that makes it sweet. It does more for some things than others, sure. Bow snakes are a little sad that they're no longer really defensive. They're glass cannons now, on account of Hagnar change, but who rolls for stuff? The lesser races. And also destruction, even more so. In a dice game, you want to roll as few dice as possible. Remember rolling? Yeah, it's a distant memory now. Chance of Skaven book being that good? Tian? Higher than you think, actually. Higher than you think. The original Skaven book at the time of its printing was really strong. So whomsoever it was that was writing the original Skaven actually really liked them a lot. I think Skaven is going to be really good. But you have to remember, here's my source on that information.
Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Next slide, please. We went over this. Your battle tactics are great, your grand stratagems are not. One of them I think was almost worth it, but you're probably just going to take prize sorcery, just like always. Anyway, your battle tactics are really good. Most people's battle tactics are pretty good. Yours are a little better, but it's just a bunch of auto successes, right, for the most part. Next slide, please. We went over these as well. This shit slaps, obviously. It's all great, and we reviewed these. I think we reviewed all of the enhancements and the artifacts of power and all that. We have not looked at the battalions. Does your Stormcast Tome review VOD exist somewhere? I'm not sure. It might have been deleted because Twitch deletes their old VODs, which is part of the reason why I made this VOD channel. I don't think my old Stormcast review VOD exists, so apologies. It might be dead. Viperic Guard and Shadow Patrol. All right, we got Khinerai and Doomfire Warlocks. Let's go. Let's fucking go. And then we got some Melusai Ironscales, some Snake-O ladies. I say some. 6 is a lot. And then, of course, Morathi, Viperic Guard. And that gives you pick 1 extra enhancement, and this one is 1 drop. And Swift, with all the Taylor Swift references cleverly hidden in this book. It's interesting that they'd have a Swift 1 drop, a bunch of Khinerai, and Doomfire Warlocks, huh? Very interesting. Alright, these seem fun. I'm happy that the one that includes Morathi isn't unified, I guess. I don't know how many drops you're going to end up getting if you're trying to make a competitive dock list now. I'm not sure. Shadow Patrol is a shitload of units, you are right. Are these Path to Glory only, or did they start adding exclusive? They started adding exclusive battalions. Almost everybody has them now, except people who don't have a new book. Hungry Panda. Yeah, everybody gets custom battalions. Some people really do care about their custom battalions because the core rule battalions just don't fit their weird-ass army. I'm looking at you, Beastclaw Raiders and Sons of Behemoth and stuff like that. And so when you do get them like SOB did, from their White Dwarf update, it was great. Other people, the core ones are just awesome, and so the fact that they got special ones, they don't care because the core ones were awesome for them. How much cheaper is Morathi than a Keeper of Secrets now? She should be like, she's double, right, than a Keeper? A Keeper can't be more than like, what, 3 something? I might check the tapes here. How much is a Keeper of Secrets? 360, right? Something like that? I mean, it would majorly suck for 360, but I think that's what it costs. Checking the tapes, Knights of Slanesh on the other screen here. It's 420. Alright. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, 420. Sure. Whatever you say, boss. God damn. Hey, thoughts and prayers. It's not a joke, yeah. I'm just catching up on chat, and you guys are saying 420. And you were actually correct. Alright. Got a bouse, yeah. Move to reveal points. Have I seen the points from Morathi Khaine? I don't think I did. How much does she cost? Well, in her current form, there was an oopsie with exactly writing her rules, which they will just fix because it was absolutely not intended. And I wouldn't even bother playing it the way the rules tell you to because it's just so clearly a mistake. Just don't even bother. Just play it how you think they think it should work and ignore what words mean or anything like that. As a shout out to anybody who knows about the loophole, which I made a video on, and I put it on Heywoah Plus. So Morathi, remember that rumor? Do you guys remember that rumor we heard? The worship through bloodshed, only usable once per game? Whatever happened to that rumor? I guess...
Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
I guess that person made it the fuck up. The range on this ability is considerably shorter now. What is it, 18 because she's your general? Because she's double Jenny's. It used to be, I believe, 24, which was the most generous area of effect for an ability like this you would ever imagine. I actually wish more were that generous, but I guess they're tightening the belt on that one too. And she lost her casting bonus. I think she used to have a bonus to cast, which is sad. And hurts you more than a little bit as a Morathi player. But if we're taking into account the fact that this will be fixed, you have invincible centerpiece monster that cannot die. If it takes 100,000 damage in one turn, it's still alive. It just takes 3. It takes forever to kill her. She eventually does die, but most durable creature in the whole game, bar none, because it's infinite durability just with a time limit. What do you pay for such an ability? I don't know. And then also, like, her synergy is super, super strong. 3 spells a turn. Lost the casting bonus, though. Her spell kind of sucks, although it's 36-inch range. So, okay, maybe it doesn't suck. No, she's still got 8 attacks with Heartrender. Or were you asking, did you mean the foot version with bladed wings? Anyway, she's the shit. I don't know what you would price her at. I don't think she can be properly costed because she's invincible. With a duration instead of a damage number. And so I can't say what she's actually worth. Whatever she used to be worth. I don't want to make her more expensive. I don't want people not to play her. I don't even necessarily want her to be worse. I just would like her to be able to die. Mathematically speaking. Just very durable, that's all. 700, I guess? I don't know. Late 600s, early 700s, something like that, I guess. Used to be 660, is now 680. Okay, that's probably fair. I feel like your best lists lose 1 squad now because of this, and probably the other increases. They lose 1 squad and your bow snakes are much more fragile. What do you do after you kill Morathi? That's the great thing. You don't, yeah. I mean, you can kill her. You just have to deal 3 damage to her every turn for 4 turns in a row. Minimum of 2 battle rounds, but usually more. And then she'll die. Once, statistically speaking, half of the games that anyone ever plays are already over, then she'll die. Also, this isn't me complaining about the power level of Daughters of Khaine as an army. DOK is, like, good. I don't even... For a while there, they were in the top tier, you know? They were very strong. It might have cooled down a little bit, I'm not sure. Like, they're either, like, top tier or right under top tier. They're not, like, oppressively 70% win rate. You know, people beat Daughters of Khaine all the time. So this isn't winning and losing complaint. This is bullshit mechanic complaint. These are different complaints. Or you can just smash Little Morathi because Big One can't negate those wounds. True, that is how it works. Rules as written. That was clearly a mistake, and they're going to fix it, though. It would have been cool, but they definitely didn't do that on purpose. A lot of people don't even think it works that way. But I think they're in denial. But it doesn't matter either, because obviously Games Workshop didn't intend for it to work like that, so it's just going to get fixed. And I wouldn't even bother playing it the way it technically does work. How effective is bracketing the shit out of her with Yndrasta? I mean, it reduces her damage a little bit. and the most important part is that it almost halves her movement. But the cool thing about the Shadow Queen is that it is a distraction Carnifex. You throw it out there to essentially waste your opponent's time and delay them. Like keeping Morathi alive so that she can keep using worship through bloodshed is the main goal. This shit's a distraction. It's just a really good distraction, that's all. Bloodwrack Shrine. Ooh, yeah, what are the shrines? What are the blood shrines? Give me these buff wagons. Also, I'm looking at these wagons that have no means of actually moving. And, hey, Skaven players, sorry that you have to push around your Screaming Bell with a unit of clan rats or whatever, and it literally can't move otherwise. Daughters of Khaine can just drive this shit around like Tonka trucks. Let's go. This isn't a complaint where it's like Daughters of Khaine are so good. This is a complaint where sometimes Skaven rules get a little too memey, and that's one of them, I think. Yeah, this is your cross to bear. Alright, what do we got here? 13 wounds, 5 up save. 8 bravery. You have a spear which does bad damage, and then a bunch of other crap that does bad damage. Okay, so you're not here for fighting, but we knew that. It doesn't have the special funny hero top, right? It has the stare on top. Slaughter Queen version is a little better at fighting. You think the bell can move 1 inch on its own? If I recall, it can't move at all, but I'd have to check the tapes. I can't remember. I would hope that it can move at some point. It's because the hero on top gets off and pushes it? Oh, I see. Yeah, they're posing for the picture, but how it really looks is they're all just pushing it on the battlefield. It is a single caster, but double unbinder. That's weird. That's a rare... 1 cast, but double unbind. That's a rarity. Aura of Agony. At the start of your hero phase, you can roll a die. Each enemy unit within 7. The roll is equal to or greater than the or the value, so it's a 2-up, okay. Enemy unit suffers D3. Same unit cannot be affected by this ability more than once per turn. And it's each enemy unit within 7, okay. Whatever. It's basically like Everwinter's Grasp if it had over double the range and almost always worked instead of never worked. That is to say, it's not very good. But at least the ability resolves. Blood Impact, 2-up D3 mortal wounds charge hit, sure. Bloodwrack Stare, yeah. 5-up Hordebreaker. Didn't her Hordebreaker used to be 4-up? Maybe I'm thinking about a really old version of DOK, though. I can't remember. I could have sworn the Medusas had a 4-up Hordebreaker. But it was like 10 inches, I want to say. Any tape checkers in the chat? Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood. Hag Queen on Cauldron of Blood. Bloodwrack Medusa. Bloodwrack Shrine, here we go. No, it was a 5-up. It was a 5-up in the last book. I must have been thinking about the original, or maybe the Foot Hero version. No. Alright, tapes checked. I think it was, I want to say it was a 4-up. An old version of DOK, but... Anyhow, what else do you do? At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 friendly Melusai unit wholly within 12. Oh, Melusai unit, huh? Add 1 to the number of the current battle round when determining the abilities gained by the unit. Oh, shit, okay. So you can take that trait, you can be next to a Bloodwrack Shrine, you can be in Hagnar. Can we be, like, on battle round 5 almost immediately? That's kind of cool. That's a neat combo. This ability and other similar abilities are cumulative. It says so right there. The good old days, thrice old version of DOK. So, yeah, so last year. Enfeebling Foe, cast on a 5, range 18, pick an enemy and subtract 1 from wound rolls. Okay, a rare debuff. Also, it's a totem like all buff wagons seem to be getting the totem keyword. I don't know what even to price this at. It's a wizard, it can cast a spell. It spells like okay, but I bet your spell lores are better. It can't really fight very well. It has Everwinter ability, only works twice as often. and twice as far, but Everwinter ability with 100% chance of working sucks, so... Bloodwrack Stairs, like, good, kinda, but 5-up isn't very good, and nobody uses Hordes anymore. Its move is 6, which is incredibly slow. It has a shit-ass save. Melusai Kin's kinda good. 200, maybe? 220 at very most. Maybe I'm being sweepingly judgmental or something, and I might be, but... Yeah, just thinking off the cuff, like 220. What are we at? Oh, okay. Cool. I was not prepared for them to try to price this correctly, but I, for a moment, forgot what book I was reading. Alright. Alright. My future points guesses will keep in mind that we're reading a Daughters of Khaine book. Yeah, 200's about right for this. I think. I wouldn't play it, but I think it's the right points cost for what it does. I would probably pay the little extra, you know, and get one of the Slaughter Queen on top ones, get one of the, you know, you just want those, right? Anyway, let's do all the cauldrons. Let's do all those at the same time. Just so we can figure out which cauldron is the best or the one we want to use. Can you take the shrine, a Bloodwrack on foot, or just another shrine and be battle round 5 within range? Yeah, but the problem is, it's only during the combat phase for the shrine effect. You can be Hagnar, and there's a command trait, I think, that increases it by 1 for the general. And then you could take shrines, but getting to the 5-up ward isn't, like, that crazy. It's not, like, worth 400 points crazy, you know? Phil Kelly loves elves too much for them to ever be bad. I mean, it depends. I think to be perfectly honest, people are really mad about elves being so good. I think they're a little arbitrary in their choice of grouping. It's not really elves, you know? Wanderers have entered the chat. It's not really elves. It's not all elves, okay? It's some of the factions that people who are working there are just excited about, and they're just clearly not as excited about some other factions, and or nobody who works there is very excited about them. That being said, Phil Kelly, the man, indeed does really like elves. This is true. But it's not like the superior race, like it's always amazing or anything. Universally, ubiquitously. Hats off, sure. Also, it's one of those, like, most 0 IQ emotional responses to something ever, in my opinion. Where it's like, okay, let's say they come out with 3 battle tomes, and they happen to be elves, and all those battle tomes are great. Like, really strong, all the options are awesome, so you're going to see a lot of diversity, you can kind of play it however you want, and you're just going to be great and fun. And, like, the 0 IQ take is, fucking elves. I hate elves. That's bullshit. What? Bro, that's how you want them to write all the battle tomes. You fool. Like, you want them to do that for everyone. That's the goal. And so the complaint shouldn't be fuck elves. It should be great work. Now do that for everyone else. Right? To me, that's the easy, like, go-to. I want Ogre Maw Tribes 2 to look like this. I don't know. Oh yeah, I was gonna look through the Slaughter Queen thing. You follow Slaanesh, you disagree with that comment? Hey, fuck Slaanesh is how we got the second book. I think. They overcorrected and tried to nerf it, because everyone was complaining about it. And then it was shit for a long time. The problem is not that... Yeah, the problem isn't one of their writers loves DOK. And the problem isn't that elves are really good. The problem is that every army doesn't have somebody who loves it, clearly, and works in design and development for it, and can't professionally summon some of that hype when producing other ones. There is no problem with Daughters of Khaine, really, or any of the other strong elven books. The problem is that they're all not like that. They either need to all be boring and shitty, or they need to be all just okay with only one way to play each of them and the rest is trash, or they need to be all like everything in there is amazing. Each of those options is like totally balanced. It just depends on how much excitement or hype or power level you want in your game itself. You just have to pick one though, and you gotta stick to it. I personally like wacky shit. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, just everyone is overpowered. There's just nonsense everywhere. And as long as everyone's on there, like, you're good. I don't want it looking like a, you know... I was gonna say heartbeat, but that I don't want to imply anything. I want to bring in some... There's no symbolism intended in this, alright? You're not sure about that, Dick? If every book was like LRL, you'd vomit blood? I would too, because the LRL book was bad. It was poorly written. It's the most bloated with rules, 100,000 things to remember, but then there's literally only 2 good units in the whole book. And if you don't play those, you're trash. I'm sorry, 3 good units, 3.5. Like, Lumineth Realm Lords from like a game design. I'm not talking about power level, I'm talking like design. Lumineth Realm Lords is a bad book. There's a single playable list in there, and that's it. And everything else is burdened and weighted down underneath like 100 pounds of inelegant sludge and extraneous, superfluous rules and things to remember and interactions that amount to essentially nothing unless you're playing the good stuff anyway. Its internal balance is horrendous, and I value internal balance really highly when I'm grading, so to speak, battle tomes. I know everyone whines about Sentinels, right? But I don't know. Look, you're gonna get shot. You weren't gonna hide out of line of sight anyway. I've seen you play against other ranged armies, and I'm using the royal you here, the second person you, not actually the person in chat, by the way. I've seen people play against other ranged armies. They weren't gonna LOS that shit anyway. So stop pretending it's the ignoring LOS that's the good part about them. It ain't. Anyway, I hope the next Lumineth book is streamlined, elegant, and has better internal balance and diversity. Instead of you play Sentinels, Techless, and Foxes, or you kind of suck. Like, that's no fun. So no, I don't want every LRL book. I don't want every army to be like LRL. Because I don't like LRL's design. Anyway, third time's the charm, right? Slaughter Queen. On Sea of B. It vomits a torrent of burning blood, just like if everyone had an LRL book, which I agree with that final part. If the next LRL book is bad, you would simply wait 5 months for the next one. Good meme, actually. We got to it. We found the good meme. A sword that is literally better than a frost spear. Avatars. Well, okay, it's the avatar of a dead god sword, so fair enough. It's okay that you're literally better than a frost spear. I'm not salty. Death Sword of Khaine is pretty sweet too. Okay, yeah, you got some... Man, Slaughter Queen be living up to her name. She's got some good weapons. Still slow as fuck, but whatever. I guess I don't mind. It's a buff wagon. Bad save. I'd won the chanting rolls for friendly Daughters of Khaine priests. Wholly within 9. That's real. Ooh, chanting rolls, huh? That is a rare buff. So this is the power of a non-NPC faction. Yeah. Alright, Avatar Altar of Khaine is great. Shia Priest, also a totem. Has the thing, has the blood shield. Add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target friendly DOK units wholly within range. And it counts itself, so it actually has a 4-up save. But it's not the characteristic, it's add, right? So unit can attempt to unbind 1 spell in the enemy phase as if it were a wizard. Okay, cool. Orgy of Slaughter. You can use this command ability in your hero phase if this unit is part of your army and on the battlefield. Well, no fucking shit. This is the most superfluous sentence. You can use this command ability in your hero phase if this unit is part of your army and on the battlefield. Bro, you aren't allowed to use abilities on units that aren't on the battlefield. It says so in the core rules. This is... Why do you even have to say that? I hate Games Workshop rules writing so much. Anyway, Yes, Tom Nealis, that's exactly what that sentence is. You can use this rule whenever you would normally be able to use this rule according to the core rules. That is what That's what they just told you. Like, what the fuck? Yes, of course. Anyway, command can only be issued by this unit, and the unit that receives the command must be a friendly dock within 3. Or, that unit can fight. Oh, cool. We can fight in the hero phase. So you're probably going to target itself with it, generally. Or the crazy ladies surrounding it. Dance of Doom. Dance of Doom is a prayer that has an answer value of 3. If answered, the first strike effect applies to this unit in the following combat phase. Alright, that's pretty good. Way better than the other one, but it always has been way better than the other one. Also, it's a hero, it's a priest, it's a totem. Somebody in chat mentioned it. Oh, Mephisto mentioned it in the chat, actually. Imagine being this right. Priest, hero, totem. Black Coach has entered the chat. How fucking hard was that? How hard was it? Just do that. What is the problem? Exactly. Anyway, if the other one is 200, this one should be 300 at least, because it has attacks that are good instead of no attacks that are good. It has a 4-up save essentially instead of a 5-up. It gets a bonus to chanting rolls. Blood Shield is way better than the other one. It can still unbind at least once. Orgy Slaughter is decent, and Dance of Doom is highly decent. This is at least 100 points worth of buff wagon shit. Pretending like they're going to aggressively cost it, I'll say 300. 315, okay, not quite as aggressively as I thought. But still, sure, yeah, this is good. Good job, yeah. Seems sick. What doesn't GW want us to take the Black Coach as our general? I don't know, just God. Fun detected? I'm not sure. Potential fun detected? Unknown. And then finally, where's the last one? Where's the other... Where's my Hag Queen? Here we go. Hag Queen on Cauldron of Blood. The final Cauldron. We had the Priest one, we had the Shit one, and now we have the Wizard one. And by Wizard, I mean the other Priest one. Never mind. I thought there was a Wizard one. I'm talking out of turn here. Oh, your attacks are sick. Okay. I could have sworn the Slaughter Queen was better at fighting than the Hag Queen, but I guess they got standardized attack profiles. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Also has the +1 to chanting rolls thing. Also has Bladed Impact. Also has Blood Shield. But you just get Witch Brew instead of the other 2 things? Yeah, okay. It's a prayer that answers on a 3, well technically a 2 with this altar. Pick one enemy within range invisible. The enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. And it's got a range of 3? Okay, so Touch of Death is hyper shit. That thing sucks. Witch Brew, I think Witch Brew got changed. Let's take a look. Pick a friendly dock unit wholly within 12 of this unit and drink the Sippy Cup. Unit cannot drink Witch Brew more than once in the same hero phase. If you do, add 1 to the number of the current battle round when determining the abilities gained by the... Oh, it does that now? No more re-rolling wound rolls and immunity to battle shock? Damn. They actually got rid of a buff. I didn't think I would see it happen. Okay, Witch Brew is way worse than it used to be. I wonder if this buff is even necessary. It used to be you always wanted the... You always wanted Witch Brew somehow. You wanted to give somebody the Sippy Cup, because it was a good buff. This buff, you have a lot of ways of getting this buff, and it isn't, like, crazy good. I mean, it still does something. It still... Technically, it gives you whatever ability you would be getting next, right? Which is not nothing. In fact, those abilities are quite good. Some of them are +1 to hit, +1 to wound, a 5-up ward. Those are good. But it's something you were, like, going to get anyway. Interesting. Well, it should be less than the Slaughter Queen version, that's for sure. Witch Brew's okay. Touch of Death is nothing. Blood Shield is good. Bladed Impact is whatever. And the Chanting Rolls is good. The attacks are essentially the same, though, as the Slaughter Queen version. Where's my Slaughter Queen version at? Here we go. Yeah, it seems to be the same. This one you just get fight in the hero phase and fight first. And both of them are priests, both of them are totems. So your choice when you're choosing to use this one or the other one is, do I want fight in the hero phase / strike first effect? Or do I want Sippy Cup to increase the blood rights table by 1? What's the range on that? Range check. Wholly within 12, that's the range check, and the other one is really close, within 3. But you can spaghetti out a little bit. I wonder if I'm undervaluing these blood rights table abilities because there's so many of them. Wasn't the other one within 3 of an enemy, not itself? Oh, let's check. Let's check the tapes. Use command ability in your hero phase. If this unit is part of your army and on the battlefield, the command can only be issued by this unit. And the unit that receives the command must be a friendly Dodge Cane unit within 3 of enemy units, and it can still fight. And this thing is a totem, so it has an 18-inch range on that. So fight in the hero phase, wholly within 18. Which is a comfortable range. How many times will you be in the hero phase and still in combat and not dead, or your opponent not dead? Not sure. I don't know, these are both pretty close. I'm gonna say the same cost. Okay, yeah, 270. I said the same cost because I didn't want to undervalue this ability, which I think I am in theory. I was gonna say 280. Okay, neat. Not giving it to Sisters of Slaughter 6 inches from the enemy, though. Yeah, that's true. No piling in 6 from, you know, in the hero phase, I guess, huh? But you could have done that before. Interesting. Okay. Hag Queen is good. Hag Queen 1 is good. Slaughter Queen 1 is good, too. Whichever one of the two is cheaper was probably the one you're going to end up playing, I think. Alright, back up to the top. Melusai Ironscale. This is the one that you choose so that you can have Snake Lady Battle Line, but I'm cheating by going ahead and seeing if you can become Battle Line with your stuff in some other way. Blood Sisters and Stalkers. Battle Line if Xanthar Kai or... Okay, Battle Line if Xanthar Kai or Melusai. Got it. So you can be Xanthar Kai and you don't need Melusai any longer. Would you take one anyway to be in some other thing? I don't think so. Whole army snakes fight automatically when they die is so fucking good. It seems so good. Anyway, she has some attacks. They're like Stormcast Foot Hero attacks that are like whatever. 5-up save, 6 wounds, 8-inch move is pretty good though. Alphabetized. Yeah, it actually threw me for a loop. I couldn't find it right away because I wasn't looking for alphabetized for once, but I should have. Each time the unit is affected by a spell or the abilities of an endless spell, you can roll a die on a 5-up ignored. Yeah, whatever. This ability is worth 1 point. Gory Offering. Any enemy models are slain by wounds caused by the unit's attacks in the combat phase. Add one of the attacks characteristic of Melusai units wholly within 12 of this unit until the end of the phase. So if this random-ass foot hero kills some enemy, then other snakes wholly within 12 until the end of the phase add +1 to the attacks characteristic. Interesting, okay. So, like, the combos you can do with this are... If you strike first, you can then get to use them right away. If you're in Xanthar Kai, they maintain that bonus to the attacks characteristic when they die and pile in and fight, which is sweet. So normally I would not be excited about this because it's not like she pulls in that unit to fight or anything like that. Although she might have in read her second 2 abilities. But there are ways that you can actually make use of this bonus, although it's hard to get a foot hero directly into combat and fighting, and normally you don't want them to, because then they can die. But this ability might be worth something. At start of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 1, and roll a die on a 2-up. The enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Why? Why even write this? End of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 1, and on a 2-up, it suffers 1 mortal wound. Amazing. I mean, look, that's a mortal. That's one thing. It ain't nothing. Wrath of the Scathborn. Use command ability in your charge phase. If this unit is part of your army and on the battlefield. Yeah, I fucking know. You can use this command ability if you would normally be allowed to use this command ability, as per the core rules. Command can only be issued by this unit. If it can only be issued by this unit, that's what it means to be on a war scroll. Alright. Unit can attempt to charge even if it ran or shot. Cool, she gives run and shoot. You might choose her anyway. You know what? I was questioning whether you would want Melusai Ironscale in your army, because you get that with Xanthar Kai, but run and charge, and bonus attacks sometimes kinda it's tricky to set up, but, you know, sure. You might actually play this chick. I don't know what she costs. I have no idea. 5 up save, 6 wounds. Good move, though. 3+3 attacks that are like bottom of the barrel, kind of okay. What should this thing cost? So every foot hero starts out at 100. Well, not really. Do we have any special things? Scathborn. She's not locked into Xanthar Kai, though. You can play her in any subfaction. Interesting. Okay, so foot heroes, technically, I would start them at 50, I guess. 6 wounds, so you're still 50. 8-inch move, 70. 5 up save, still 70. Blood of the Oracle. 5 up spell ignore, 75. This is worth 5 points at most. Normal attacks, still 75. Gory Offering, strong effect on an ability that's hard to pull off. So maybe she's 80. Turned into Crystal, still 80. And Wrath of the Scathborn, I'm thinking probably 140. I'm undervaluing Gory Offering a little bit. There are synergies with it. Plus, Run and Charge is really good. 140 at the most, I think. Absolute most, probably. 115. Oh, damn, she's priced well. And every other choice, I'm overcompensating for whether it's a doc book or it's not a doc book. Yeah, these points are proper. How nice. How refreshing it is. It's so refreshing visiting Daughters of Khaine land, where my real thoughts about points, I guess I can just say them instead of being embarrassed, because sometimes they might actually just do it. Cool. Okay, yeah, this is proper for her. This is how all the other ones should be costed, really. Nice work. Easy. Next. Bloodwrack Medusa. She is a wizard. Casts 1 spell and unbinds 2 spells. So her minimum cost is 100. Go with your true feelings? Alright, I'm just going to go with my true feelings from now on. She is a wizard with 1 cast and 2 unbinds. So she starts at 100. She has a move of 8. So she's at 105. She has a save of 5 up, so she's back to 100. Bloodwrack Stare. Roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in target unit within range. And that's 12. And it's every 5 up is a mortal wound. Alright, she is at 105 for that. Melusai Kin. At the start of your combat phase, you can pick 1 friendly Melusai unit wholly within 12, add 1 to the number of the current battle round in determining blood rights. Okay, she's 110 now. Enfeebling Foe casts on a 5, range of 18, pick an enemy unit, 1 from wound rolls, and her attacks are dog shit. Okay. Did I say she was 115? Yeah, 115, I think. for her. 130, okay. Well, I went with my true feelings, but here we are. Perhaps they think Bloodwrack Stare is worth a goddamn, which it is not. Or perhaps they value Double Unbind higher than I do, or maybe they value Wizard higher than I do. Stare is a decent Horde Breaker? Yeah, but a decent Horde Breaker is bad, though. I'm being true feelings, alright? So, hey, get ready. A decent Horde Breaker is bad. So, there's the true feelings coming out. Also, no one plays Hordes, and if it's not 4 up, I basically ignore it. Even though the range is pretty decent. 12-inch range is pretty good. Usually they're worse than that. Yeah, in 3.0 this ability is worse than it used to be, but it still didn't used to be very good because I thought 5-ups were crap. 4-up or don't talk to me, and I'll choose somebody else. She's actually better, I think, in her current incarnation than she used to be. Because being a wizard is more important now than it was in 2nd, I think. Horde armies are coming back with a new General's Handbook. I hope so. It would be nice if any of them existed. I don't want it to be the thing that everyone does, because that's boring. But I want armies that should be Horde to be at their strongest when they're playing Horde. And I want armies that shouldn't be Horde to have that clearly not be the best thing for them to do even, you know, normally. That's my opinion on it, though. I think we went a little too far into Hero Monster Hammer with the most recent GHB. Because even armies that weren't supposed to do that at all felt like they kind of had to. It's just... And that actually was the best thing they can do. They just suck now. I don't want that to be true when we go to Horde land. I just want the Horde armies to be good. And Horde. And use them. And the Hero Hammer armies to do that. Somebody the Bloodied. And the Blade-Coven. She has, I am assuming, a 6-inch movement. She's the one with the sippy cup, whom they accidentally priced at 80 last time. When the normal Hag Queen was much more expensive, because they forgot she had the sippy cup ability, because even they don't check Underworld War Scrolls. She has nothing, no real attacks. At the start of your, yeah, you can drink the sippy cup. Touch of Death is a prayer that is bad. And then the Blade-Coven. How many of these ladies do you get? How many of them shits do you get? These snake bow ladies. The models in Blade-Coven are Khinerai, Khaine, Kyrissa, and Lethier. You have a bow. You have... And then just a bunch of sacrificial knives, okay. So you got 4 extra chicks. This is a 5-man unit. Before you allocate a mood or wound to Morgwaeth the Bloodied within 3, instead of making a ward roll, you can allocate it on a 2-up. That's a really easy pass-off, isn't it? Okay. And Khinerai is a unit champion, and she has a wounds characteristic of 3, but everybody else has 2. Okay. So it's a 5-man unit that has... The hero's got 5, the champion has 3, and then the other 3 have 2. And they're just a hodgepodge, random-ass unit. But good range on the bow. I don't know what they priced Hag Queen at, so it's hard for me to guess here. Maybe I should look at Hag Queen first. Wounds 5, save 5 up, move 6. Blade of Khaine, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1d3, okay. Start of your hero phase, you can pick 1 friendly DOK, yeah, Witch Brew, and then Touch of Death. She is a priest and a hero. Yeah, my opinion on Hag Queen is bounced all over the place. Makoto is your only queen? Oh, really? Okay, well. Good taste. What is this chick supposed to cost? She dies to everything, but that doesn't matter. She doesn't really do any damage, but that doesn't matter. It's not where you take any hero. On foot, anyway. Touch of Death sucks, but you're going to use a different prayer anyway, so that's fine. Essentially, she's a walking witch brew, which used to be overpowered way back in the day. And it still was for a while, but they changed it, so I don't know. 80 points? 110, okay. So more than I thought. Now let's go back to the group troop. Okay. So if this thing is 110, then plus 4 random ass chicks, 130 maximum. 185. All right, see ya. No thanks. Get out of my office. Then we have a Hag Queen on something something. This one, Slaughter Queen version, and now Slaughter Queen on foot. Okay. Oh, she has Orgy of Slaughter and Dance of Doom. She's just... Okay, they just stapled, like, her abilities onto this thing, then. That's nice. I appreciate that. It helps the player when they're thinking about how these things interact. They're like, oh, it's just... It has these, except she's on top of this thing. And it brings up an expectation in the player that's reading it, right? So you have 4 attacks that are something, and you die, and you have Dance of Doom, which is... It's only this unit. She can only Dance of Doom herself. Which is very sad, because she's clearly not really for fighting. You can use the command ability in your hero phase. If this unit is part of your army, the command can only be issued by this unit, and the unit that receives it must be within 12. Because she's just a foot hero. No totem like the other one. And it can fight in the hero phase. What should this thing be worth? Well, keeping in mind that... Well, it is a priest. It's at least a priest. Right? She's arguably worse than Hag Queen. Well, if I know Hag Queen is 110, then Slaughter Queen should be 100. And she's 130. Okay. She's more. Interesting. Okay. Fighting in the combat phase is better than Sippy Cup in this army, you think, huh? I don't know if your guys are durable enough to stick around until the hero phase. But, I don't know. Maybe that's theory crafting. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright, I'm willing to say perhaps I'm wrong on that one. Things look very different on paper than when you finally play, right? I think the bodyguard gives a lot of value to a very fragile unit. I agree, that's why it's 120. And you think she has a slightly better attack as well. The price increase wasn't that dramatic, and she is more survivable, and you probably shouldn't discount the unit until it's of a unit. Until it's of a unit. She's essentially a Hag Queen with a buttload of ablative wounds, which is cool. Like, that's good. I think she's good. I also think 185 is a lot. For, at the end of the day, like, the Witch Brew effect, a prayer, and a whole bunch of wounds. I don't know if that's 185 to me. You know what happened to the last... No big deal. No big deal. Hi, Gladiatrix. This is the new one. 665 up, okay. Barbed Whip. Oh, 3-inch range? Nice. Good range. 4 attacks, 3-3-1-1, and then 3-3-1-1 as well. Also has the Dance of Death. The unit is eligible to fight 6. Oh, nice. She has the big. She has the good. There's pile in an additional, or 3, and then there's activate, or rather, as they now word it, eligible to fight. She has the Yeti version, aka the Sisters of Slaughter version, aka the good version. Awesome. I think it's way more awesome on your chaff or your units than it is on a foot hero, but still, it's good. And she's supposed to be a Sisters of Slaughter, just the hero version, so of course she should have Dance of Death. Killing Stroke. At the end of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy hero within 1 and roll a d3. Alright, so it's only at the end of the combat phase, She's not dead. The hero she's fighting is not dead. It's within 1 inch of her. And you roll a d3. Add the number of wounds allocated to the enemy hero to the roll. If the roll is equal to or greater than the enemy hero's wounds characteristic, it is slain. So essentially, this is like... It's kind of like D3 mortal wounds. Except... it only kills you if it kills you, but it doesn't actually deal any damage. So it's sort of like she does a D3 at the end of combat. Except she only does a D3 if you would die from it, in other words. Ahem. Melee weapons used by friendly witch elves and sister slaughter units wholly within 12 of any friendly unit with this ability have a 2 wound characteristic of 3 instead of 4 and a rend of -1 instead of dash. Oh shit. Boy am I happy to read Paragon of Slaughter, because let me tell you, this hero was about to cost 50 points. Like, you are not a wizard, you're not a priest. You don't have a good wheel. You don't have good attacks. You were chilling at 50. At the minimum I could possibly say that a hero could possibly be worth. Dance of Death didn't save it. Killing Stroke is nothing. You were chilling at 50. But Paragon of Slaughter... Damn, this is one of those synergy abilities, huh? Wholly within 12, it's Witch Elves and Sisters. They essentially get +1 to wound, except better than +1 to wound, because it stacks with everything, because it's characteristic, and +1 rend. Jesus Christ, that's a sick synergy. It's not a command ability. It's not you're not rolling for it to work. It doesn't cost any resources. It's just always on. Man, they made her really fragile too. Anyone with shooting is gonna pop this chick, and it's gonna make you sad because her buff is so amazing. 160, I think. Yeah, 160 minimum, even though she's just gonna get killed and then you'll be mad. But this ability is so strong. It's such a great ability. This ability is basically like if she was a spellcaster and had an incredible buff spell, right? 90. Oh, okay. Well, here's where me and Games Workshop differ, I guess. Yeah, I was being honest. When I called the thing they said was 185, when I said it should be 120, maybe 130. I was being honest. And when I said this should be 160 and they made it 90, look, it's not just me always going low. Sometimes they go low. This ability is fucking incredible. Yeah, she dies immediately and that'll be sad, but... Isn't everything in DOK fragile? Now, yeah. It didn't used to be, but we've been slowly moving towards that. At least you can take more than one, I guess. You're supposed to pair it up with a unit each time, maybe. Sisters of Slaughter, these are great. They're like Yetis if you got them in 10s. And they did damage instead of no damage. So, Kroiplash, and or Sacrificial Knife. So you either get an extra knife, or you get a buckler for a 5-up save instead of a 6-up. They have Dance of Death, which is amazing. They have Bladed Bucklers, which kick back a mortal on a 6. You can run and charge. You can reroll failed battle shock tests. Damn, 6-inch move, run and charge, pile in, and activate 6. Ready to slurp up all of the buffs. It's true that your attacks, you only have 2, maybe 3 of them. No rend, but... hey. It's a fixer-upper, aka a sponge. This is a sponge to slurp up all of the fucking juice. Speaking of juice, hey, look at that. They're actually on 3s and 3s, not 3s and 4s. And they actually have rend 1, not rend dash. And actually, they have Rend 2 if they charged and you're in that one subfaction, so look at that. We've taken a 90-point hero and a subfaction, and Sisters of Slaughter are chilling on 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, Rend 2. Already. And we haven't even cast any spell buffs on them, we haven't even prey buff on them. We haven't done any of that shit. We haven't factored in the fact that you could be on the Blood Rights table. And since Gladiatrix is characteristic and not bonus, they're chilling on 2s and 2s suddenly. And then we could do Mind Razor. Yep. Any slurpers in the chat? Hell yeah. I don't know what 10 of them should cost, though. I have no idea. 100 and something, right? I don't know. 130? Yeah, 135. All right. Sure. They're great. You want to take a bunch of them. They slurp the bonuses. And also, they have 2-inch range. And they're on 25 mil bases. So if you have 30 of them, all 30 are attacking, which is kind of ridiculous. Although they won't... You won't get all the attacks with those knives, I guess. Fucking slurp. Alright, Sisters... Slurpers of Slaughter. Sisters of Slurper. Alright, these one, they are sick. And they are cool. Are Sisters of Slaughter just worse versus Witch Elves? No, Witch Elves are the ones that are just worse. Historically. But let's figure this one out. Maybe things are different. Paired Seansa. So you either have the Seansa and a Bladed Buckler or paired. Okay, so you start out with 3. And you could Blade Buckle if you wanted to. But would you? I don't know. Probably not. Just full glass cannon. Send it. Full send it maybe. Damn, you get 5 attacks a model with this shit? If you say no to the shield. 5 attacks a model instead of 3? Damn. Alright, yeah, Witch Elves are outshining Sisters of Slaughter by a lot now. In a big unit. Sisters of Slaughter are going to get all of their attacks, right? Because 2-inch range is huge, but... Even considering that, yeah, Witch Elves are just better now. I wasn't prepared for 5 attacks. I thought it was going to be +1 attack like it used to be. Oh no, it's not 5. Sorry, I reread this little paragraph here. You don't get both. It's paired versus not. So you do only get 3 attacks. Okay, you have the same number of attacks then. Yeah. Okay, no, they don't shit on everything then. Frenzied Fervor. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit while is wholly within 12 of any friendly Daughters of Khaine totems. Okay. I mean, you're gonna be... There are a few ways... Yo. Okay, we back. Ahem. Pardon the interruption. I had to put down a little Skaven revolt, but don't worry. I have rejected their demands. Yeah, Skaven revolt in the Gigamines. Exactly. Welcome back, half of you. Thanks for sticking around. I was talking about Witch Elves versus Sisters of Slaughter, if I IRC correctly. Ahem. No, my AZ did not catch on fire. I did turn it off, though. So you can hear absolutely, well, not perfect, because I'm actually not very good at setting up microphones, but at least no more clicking or background noises. How about that? At least for a little while. Anyway, I was comparing Witch Elves to Sisters of Slaughter, and I noticed that Witch Elves have 3 attacks on 3s and 4s, no rend 1 damage, and Sisters of Slaughter have essentially 3 attacks on 3s and 4s, no rend 1 damage. Both of them are ready to absorb all sorts of buff juice and become the buckets of dice with a million rend that everybody knows and loves them for. The only difference is Sisters of Slaughter have two things on their War Scroll that's very good. Activate and pile in 6, which is great, and 2-inch reach on some of their weapons. So you can run them in big units and almost everyone is going to get almost all their attacks, which is really good. Both of these abilities are very good. And Witch Elves have, like, Frenzied Fervor is kind of okay. It's fine. It's not incredible. It's just like, you're going to get this one way or another, right? They're both in 10s. I assume they're both in 10s. Jesus, let's look, actually. Witch Elves are in 10s, and Sisters of Slaughter are still in 10s. Yeah, unchanged. Unchanged there. So, which one is better? Witch Elves or Sisters of Slaughter? Well, Sisters of Slaughter are better, because they have Dance of Death, which is good. Some would say great. And they're able to get more attacks if they're a large unit. And Witch Elves are better because they're cheaper. That's it. That's the only reason. So which one should you play? Witch Elves, no question. Because they're the cheapest one. Your buffs are so amazing, and these two are close enough to each other, that whichever one is cheaper, you're just going to play that one. That's pretty much the too long didn't read. Unless you're in Kraith, like a subfaction that gives specifically Sisters of Slaughter some bonus ability or something like that. And then you can pay extra for it. You will enjoy the 2-inch reach. You will enjoy the Dance of Death, because both of those things are great. As well as getting a subfaction bonus. So, like, play those in that. But, yeah, Sisters of Slaughter better than Witch Elves. But Witch Elves are considerably cheaper. So you just play Witch Elves. That's it. Guess you're committing to the suboptimal ones building around Kraith. Yeah, they're going to be great in there, I think. It's weird to say suboptimal because Sisters of Slaughter are just better, I think. And not even by a little bit, they're definitely better. Activated Paladin 6 is so fucking good. And 2-inch reach is great too. It's just these are the cheaper ones, and so you take them. If you want to play with Sisters of Slaughter, pick Kraith Subfaction, and that's sick. Like, they'll be great. That's the thing about the doc book. If you take the inefficient choice, you're still good. You'll be great. And you get custom, 4-up fight twice. Nice. I'm a fan. So to be clear, it's not because Witch Elves are so much better. It's just the price difference. For me, yeah. Yeah, before the stream died, but I had a cool moment that I had a cool moment of Twitch acting. Well, not really acting, but like setting it up. But the stream dying killed it. And it was before I had even looked at the price for Witch Elves. I said, your buffs and all of your buffs are so good that whichever of these two is cheaper, that's the one you play. Yeah, Sisters of Slaughter are better than Witch Elves, for sure, but whichever one's cheaper, that's the one you're playing, because your buffs are amazing. And then I went like this, and I'm like, yep, you play Witch Elves, and then the stream died, so. You can't be cool on Twitter. Yeah, I guess I can't. Ahem. Khainite Shadowstalkers. These are new. They have Cursed Missiles, which is a shoot. Very, very, very short range. 4-up save, though. Nice. 164. You get an Umbral Blade on your champion instead of the shoot attack and the Assassin Blades. In addition, the Shroud Queen has a wounds characteristic of 3. Oh, word? Okay. So you got 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1d3. Cool. That's like a bad hero weapon. In your movement phase, instead of picking this unit to make a normal move or retreat, you can say that it will just straight up teleport. Hell yeah. That's really useful. Nice little utility unit. And they got 2 attacks on 4s and 3s, 01. Which isn't any good. In fact, it's pretty bad. However, the cool thing about being in an army with literally every single type of amazing buff you could ever want is that all you're really looking at is number of attacks. Because once you put all those buffs on basically anything, it'll be good. So that's cool. They're not that new. The new is we didn't talk about it Friday. That's what the new means. And I can't remember if these are 5 or 10, so I don't know what to cost them at. But since they are a utility unit and Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughters are so good, I'm assuming 5 on these. I don't want to look because it has the points cost. Oh, they're 10? Okay. I don't know. They should be overpriced because Shadow Leap is good. Shadow Leap plus 4-up save plus the damage that Khainite Shadowstalkers could be able to dish out, is approaching Sisters of Slaughter and Witch Elf level. It's not there, but it's kind of approaching it, and it might be enough. So I don't know, 140. Oh, they went 150. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I was thinking 140. Free tallies are so hard to balance with points. Yeah, I mean, they are and they aren't. It kind of depends on how good the unit is, right? Because like a free teleport is great because you can position somewhere, you can block a lane, you can capture an objective that your opponent left, right? You can move somebody onto a part of the board that, you know, maybe an objective just landed there or something like that. Essentially like speed bump stuff, area control stuff, and objective stuff. And all of that probably has a normalized price. It's just if the unit is like, if the unit is good though, like if it's a monster hero, or it like, if it can do something really incredible once it gets there, then the price has to come up along with that. It's sort of like if your unit is good, it pulls the cost of all your stuff up with it. And I don't think you have to do that here, although they do absorb buffs well. 150, sure. People might even play one unit of these just for the utility of it, even if I guessed a little low. Shame they can't teleport and shoot. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why the range is so low, so that you can't just teleport and shoot something. Even if it's just 10 random ass shots, but that's, you know, 10 shots on 3s and 3s -1/1 is actually pretty decent in this game for shooting. A lot of shooting is worse than this if you ignore the range. Hats off, sure. Cool, these are useful. Doomfire Warlocks. Now these guys, how do I put this? Doomfire Warlocks are not bad. Alright? They're not. I'm trying to defend them. They're not bad, just like, okay. 14-inch move. That's a lot. Yeah, their save sucks, but everything's save sucks in this army. 2 wounds a pop. They come in a unit of 5. That's 10 wounds on a 14-inch move that is a wizard and can unbind. Has 12-inch range shots that kind of suck, but it's, you know, 2 attacks a month. They have 10 attacks, 4s and 3s, 01. And so they have a threat range of 26 inches. Cursed Scimitars that happen to have Rend. 4 attacks a model. They have +1 to cast and unbind if they're a full unit of 5, which is great. And a 12-inch, you know, D6 mortal wound, as long as none of them are dead. And it's possible to run them in a 10, I guess, if you really want to. If you run this in a unit of 10, you're talking 20 wounds. A 20 wound wizard that straight 6 mortal wounds people with his spell, on +1 to cast and unbind. And, you know, 20 12-inch range shots that are going to do something, and 20 Cursed Scimitar attacks. Like, that's cool. They're not like a bad unit. It's just that everything in DOK is so amazing, and they don't really fit anywhere. I don't know if it's their keywords or what. They just don't really fit, and they're not quite worth it. Also, you attack them, and then they're just all dead. Just like everything in DOK, right? So, an excellent Harcuron unit. Yeah, there you go. It's just they got dropped into the wrong army. This is like some Cities of Sigmar army, or unit. Just airlifted into DOK, and Daughters of Khaine are just looking back and forth like, what are you doing here? You seem to be a male, right? This is an all-female army. You know, you don't teleport, you don't deep strike, you don't have 1 billion attacks. You're not invincible. You don't fight when you die. Like, what are you trying to do here? And they're like, we're just good meat and potato stuff. And they are. But kind of don't fit. Yeah, 145 for 5 of them. That's even kind of a fair price for a unit that's also a wizard. With cast and unbind bonuses and some crossbow shoots. Like, they're not even pointed badly. They're Lithanum, male servant. Yeah, in the lore, I'm not saying... This isn't a Kragnos situation where they're just like... just toss them in willy-nilly. They have a basis in the lore. Like, they belong in the army. It's just like unit role or unit job-wise, they just kind of feel left out to dry. And they do share a kit with a Cities of Sigmar unit. Yes, they do. That is correct. I think it's... What are they called? Shadow something. Not Shadow Stalkers, not Shadow Warriors. Shadow Hunters? Dark Riders, that's it, yeah. I think Dark Riders is what they're called. We made this book before Cities of Sigmar existed. The unit? Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Anyway, they're cool. They don't really belong, I don't think, but they're cool. I hope somebody does something with them. Avatar of Khaine. 9 wounds, 9-inch move, 4-up save. What a Chad, actually. Perfect number of wounds. Although he's not a hero, so it doesn't matter. Is a totem, naturally. 2-inch range, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2/3. He's got an Annihilator Big Hammer with 4 attacks. And he spews blood at you with 6 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1/1. Alright. Add 1 to chanting rolls for friendly Daughters of Khaine priests wholly within 9 of any friendly units with this ability. Cool. +1 chanting rolls is great. Unit has a ward of 5-up. Hell yeah, what a fucking Chad. I mean, it is a statue of a god, so 4-up, 5-up makes sense, actually. This dude is a Chad. Wrath of Khaine. Counts as a monster for the purposes of the Monstrous Rampage rule. To get ahead of any other questions. It only counts as a monster for the purposes of the Monstrous Rampage rules. No other purposes. But you can only carry out a stomp or smash to rubble. Oh no, you can't use Roar.
What's wrong with you?
That's the only reason you would want to use a monster's action, though, is to use Roar. Why would I want to smash something to rubble? I guess Stomp, it's D3 mortal wounds. Okay. I was briefly excited. And all of the excitement is now gone. This basically says, end of the charge phase. It's almost like he has an impact hit, like 3-up, deal D3 after a charge. I mean, cool attacks. The dude slaps. He's pretty / very durable. Good move. Has some mortal wounds. Is a totem. All that stuff is cool. Half monster is still cool. He is not a half monster. He is 1/20th of a monster. Doesn't capture like a monster. Can't use Roar, which is the only reason you would want Monstrous Rampages in the first place. I wouldn't even call him a monster. I would just say that he has an impact hit, because it's basically the same thing. Do you still have that thing where they can't do anything unless you activate them? I need to know that before I check out their points. Unknown Stillbore. Thanks for the big primer. I appreciate it. At least he's less than 10 wounds. True, but that only matters if you're a hero. And he's not. It doesn't only matter if you're a hero. I'm just thinking about applying for battalions. It actually does still matter. You're right. Does he just not need to be activated anymore? He can just chill. You can fuck around the table and move just right away, do whatever you want. Battle Fury, Fanatical Faith. Okay, it seems to be he can just do it. He's a real boy now. He's Pinocchio. All right. So what are you doing, sir? What do you do? You are not a hero. You are not a monster. You're kind of like just a big elite troop guy. You're kind of like a shark. How am I going to think about this guy? I guess I'm going to consider this guy to essentially be a shark in IDK. Like, that's, I suppose, the role he's fitting. Like, lots of wounds, almost a monster thing that doesn't fit in any other synergy roles. So he's reasonably durable, reasonably good move, reasonably decent attacks, and adds a priest bonus, so he can chill next to a priest and buffer up. And he has a D3 mortals sometimes when he charges stuff. Grimwrath dude? Yeah, maybe Grimwrath dude as well. A sportsman big against Slaanesh, they need it. Yeah, maybe. And he is a totem. Hold on, I have a rules question. Can a totem issue commands intrinsically due to the nature of being a totem? Like, does being a totem grant you the ability to issue commands, in other words? It must. I don't know where it says it, but it just has to, because otherwise this guy couldn't. Because he's not a unit champion, he's not elite, and he's not a hero. And so the totem, I hope somewhere in the core rules they say, like, totems can issue commands. Because I know the range at which they issue them is 18. Issues commands at 18? Okay, same with Leviathan, alright. So this guy's a little mobile command center boy. He can fight okay, he has a good move, and he has, like, a really high durability. What are you going to cost, sir? You do, like, maybe 3 or 6 damage in a combat. It takes, like, 20 damage to kill you. You had +1 to chanting rolls, but not for yourself. You're not casting spells, you're not a hero, you're not praying, but you're helping prayers. Technically, you're a totem, so you're a cool, like, command ability juicer. But you don't do anything, you actually just fight. You're just fighting. Besides CAs. I might just count this guy as a hero. For almost every intents and purpose, he's a hero, except he can't take an artifact or trait. Which really shits in his Kool-Aid, too. I kind of wish I could Timmy trap him up in some Fido artifact. Which wouldn't be any good, but it would be, like, fun, maybe. 150. Like, you don't want people to spam these, right? Which you're in danger of them doing if he's as cheap as 150. I would almost give him the monster keyword just so people wouldn't spam him, to be honest. I guess 4 is 4 spamming? Yeah, probably. I don't know. You know what? All of those things, that's Games Workshop's fucking problem. I'm just saying what his points are. 150. Yeah, 155. That was pretty close. Cool. Yeah, I think that's about right. The sad part about this guy is quite possibly just due to player psychology. This is pretty close to a fair price for him, and I don't know that people will play any. Because there's better stuff to be doing. But this is cool. You think he is a... Oh, is he a behemoth? Sorry, behemoth? Behemoth. What is this guy actually called again? Avatar of Khaine? Oh, he is a behemoth. He's a behemoth? Oh, but he doesn't have the monster keyword. That's about the Monstrous Rampage thing. Why didn't you just make him a monster? You gave him the behemoth keyword, and then you made him a totem. And then you gave him an ability so that he counts as a monster for the shittiest parts of being a monster, and not any of the good ones. Just make him a monster. Save yourself some space up here in the rules section. You can write something else up here. Like, you could have not had this ability, just written monster down here, and then added something else if you wanted to. He's good, but he doesn't fit, I don't think, in what you're trying to do. I think they made him behemoth so that he wouldn't be spammed like I was opining about in my head. He buffs Witch Elves as he's a totem, worth taking. I mean, maybe. Like, you're going to have 2 generals in this army, right? And so both of them are 18-inch CAing, right? And you're going to have a lot of heroes. You may have a cauldron, which is also a totem. And those are all, like, those are totems and or generals that are also wizards or also priests or, you know. I don't know what this guy's supposed to be doing. Besides looking cool and having fun attacks. And that's good. And highly decent defense, by the way. I just don't know that... He's like Doomfire Warlocks, except I think he's a little better than them. In that they do something cool, and they're not technically overpriced. Just you have better / more useful things to be doing. He's not the new cool 40k avatar they came out with, which I was wondering if they'd let you use or not, but it seems no. A lot of the new 40k avatar thing has some really, really specific, 40k space elf iconography on it that just doesn't mesh with what DOK is doing. Can you still have this dude on the shrine? Yeah, I think he's part of the shrines. He's just like he's stapled on. See, here's the avatar sword up here. The torrent of blood is coming out of him. It just has his stats right here stapled onto it, including the bonus to chanting rolls. So you're using him in your cauldron, whichever cauldron you want to use. You're using him in. But he could be taken solo. You can just have him on the ground, walking around T-posing, fighting people if you wanted to. But I don't know if it's so great. But you can do it. And at least they're letting you do it. He has to be a part of a shrine? No, it's an option. Yeah. All of the shrines have him on top automatically, but he can be taken solo if you want. You cannot take a shrine without him on top, I don't think, except the what's it called? Except the Medusa one, which is also the bad one. So is he better on the shrine? I would say that the shrine is better. It happens to have him on top of it, and that's cool. Yeah, if your goal was to find a way to play an Avatar of Khaine of any sort, then I would just take a shrine for sure. I think shrine's better than him for sure, even though they do very different things. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name Bloodwrack, and so I just had to say Medusa one. Anyway, look, he's cool, okay? He's kind of like Doomfire Warlocks. He's cool, but at the end of the day, doesn't really do anything. And that all of your other heroes are doing. Besides fuck people up and not die. But that's what your troops are for. That's not really what your heroes are for, besides Morathi. Imagine him yeah, maybe he's pushing the cauldron, that's why. Yeah, that's it. Blood Stalkers. 2 wounds, 5 up save, 8-inch move, big move. These are the bow snakes. I remember you from that one game where you shot me, and the other game where you shot me. 24, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1/1. They proc mortal wounds, but the attack sequence ends. This is pretty good. It's not overpowered or anything. It's just good. When you can shoot twice, it's arguably overpowered, but still. It's not like Daughters of Khaine can't lose. They lose all the time. And that's it. It's a pretty bare war scroll, isn't it? They have a blood wyrm up here that you can also attack with, which is probably the worst champion upgrade I've ever seen, next to champion upgrades that don't have anything attached to them. A single 3 and 3, no rend 1. That being said, I guess the wyrm slurps up buff juice as well, so. Anyway, these are great. I don't know what they used to cost. I just know that everybody played a max size unit of them. Well, not a max size unit. Some people did, some people didn't, but yeah, I don't know what they used to cost. Whatever they used to cost, they should cost that. 180. Okay, sure. Technically, they're weaker now because they lost their defensive. They lost a little bit of their ward bonus. So you're just glass cannon. But yeah, they're great. They were the best thing to be doing in the army. They're arguably still the best thing to be doing in the army, but it is arguable now. And that's enough for me. I just want a little decision. Maybe you want to play a bunch of stabby snakes and have them fight after they die automatically. Maybe you want to play a bunch of witch elves, or maybe you even want to play Sisters of Slaughter and fight twice every combat. Like, you got options. Sounds fun to me. Blood Sisters. 3 attacks a model to start. Nice. 2-inch range. After this unit has fought for the first time in the phase and all of its attacks have been resolved, you can pick 1 enemy within 1. Roll 1 die for each model in this unit. Each 2 up, 1 mortal wound. Okay, they have this weird turn to crystal thing by staring at you, I guess. 5 dice. This is kind of like a D3 mortal wounds at the end of combat. This actually adds up. I was making fun of it on the hero, but I see it's just like what they all have. Doc listened to Luck's skill victory and diversified their threats. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Blood Sisters are cool. I like them. I don't know what they used to cost. I don't know what they should cost. I'd have to do a whole bunch of math. 140? Seems good. Yeah, alright. Hey, alright. You have a whole bunch of attacks. You do some mortal wounds at the end of combat. If I kill you, you just pile in and fight again, and you don't even have to roll. Good movement. And you're in Daughters of Khaine. Good work. Seems fun. Khinerai Heartrenders. These are the deep striking ambush ones. No, these are the deep striking shooting ones with the barbed javelins. The turn they come down, it's Rend 2 or something like that. Let's see. 14-inch move. Holy shit, that's fast. 12-inch range, 1 attack a model, 3s and 3s, 1/1. Instead of setting it up, you can have them fly high. If you do, You can drop them down. After this unit shoots, this unit can make a normal move of 6. I thought they had Ren 2 the turn they landed. Maybe I'm just thinking of an old version, I guess. It also automatically makes a normal move of 6, no rolling. These are great. Yeah, they lost the fun thing, but then again, like, their average attacks went up. I mean, I'll make that trade. I think I'll make that trade. I don't know. I'm sad, I guess. Dropping in Ren 2 was actually really useful a lot of the times. And the move after shoot was tricky and cool, but maybe I wanted the bonus rend even. Kind of depended on how. I think you just use them slightly differently now, I guess. Auto-moving 6 after you shoot is great, though, don't get me wrong. Especially when you can land like 11.9 away. Toss 5 or 10 javelins at someone, and then, you know, now you're 17 away from them. Probably not getting counterattacked. I think these are great. Great and fun. Perhaps they used to have a shield ability, because I see a shield on their arm, but they're just simplifying this stuff, it seems. I don't know what they used to cost. If the only thing that's changed is they lost Ren 2 but gained Auto Move 6, I think they should be either the same cost or maybe 5 less, maybe 10 less even. Depends on how people really liked using them. I think they're a little worse than they used to be, though maybe not. Did they used to be on 3s and 3s 1-1? I guess I could check the tapes. Okay. That's a bargain. They used to be a great bargain. Now, they're a bargain. I like them. And I would play with them. Hell yeah, brother. Alright, and then the melee ones, which you can actually juice them up with some decent buffs, to be honest. And they have 2 attacks a model, not bad. After this unit fights, you can roll a die on a 4-up. The unit current. Oh, okay, so you didn't get the change. You don't automatically retreat. Which would be kind of silly. On one hand, they're worse than the range ones. On the other hand, they could, at their best, be way better. So I don't know what to cost these at. I think you have to assume that people are going to lean into putting all the buffs on them. Because if you're not trying to put all your buffs on Khinerai, then you're just going to choose the ranged ones. And if you are going to put all your buffs on Khinerai sometimes, I think that's the only situation that you're going to actually take Lifetakers. And so we should point them based on they really are getting juiced up. So maybe they should, instead of being cheaper than Heartrenders, because they're worse than Heartrenders, they should actually be more expensive, even though they're worse, because the only time you're ever going to play them is when they're juiced up. So, yeah, honestly, on something like this, keeping in mind that Witch Elves are 115, and Sisters of Slaughter are 135, I'm thinking Khinerai Lifetakers at whatever it is. It's only a unit of 5. I don't know, 100. Yeah, maybe just slightly more than the flappy ones. 100 maybe. Oh, they're cheaper. Okay. Games Workshop went with the... Now, this makes sense, right? I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I just talked my way through it earlier so you could... But it's true that Lifetakers are worse than Heartrenders. So you would think that you should make Lifetakers cheaper because they're worse. This is totally logical. It makes perfect sense. Why would the worse one not be cheaper, right? And so that's like one way to look at it. But the way I was just looking at it before was, the only reason you would ever play these is if you're loading them up with all your buffs instead of playing Witch Elves or instead of playing something else. So like and I care about the end result. Like, what are these going to do when people are actually playing them in a normal game? And so if you're playing these at all, you're loading them up. And so they're going to be way better and they should be a little more expensive. That was my thought process anyway. I mean, their way works too. Their way is very logical and it's good almost always. This one's worse, so it's cheaper. Makes perfect sense. But I'm trying to think about what if, you know, if a person would ever take Lifetakers, they're doing so with a combo in mind, or they're having them be their main troops, and so we actually want them to be a little more expensive. At least that was my thoughts. These are a pain in coherency. Oh, I wasn't thinking about... Are they 40 mils, really? I didn't think they were on bases that large Ghost Mutton and Combat John. Having them near enough to all your other stuff to receive your buffs kind of removes their big mobility advantage. It does, yeah. Which means you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops, even if your plan is to buff them up, so maybe they should be cheaper anyway because it's so hard to do that. You know? Which is why it's generally the safest choice to just make the stuff that's worse cost less. Which sometimes, you know, everybody's gotten wrong in the past, but it's nice to see them get it right sometimes. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't thinking about coherency, and I wasn't thinking that their bases were that big. Anyway, now we got the Bloodwrack Viper, which you might think sucks, because every endless spell sucks, but let me just tell you, there's at least 2 endless spells in the game that don't straight suck hard. And Bloodwrack Viper actually had a decent use. It swallows little, you know, it swallows little heroes, swallows them whole. And you can block lanes and stuff with it. This one was almost like, I think this endless spell was so good, people actually played it every once in a while, I think. And you have to be an amazing endless spell for anyone to buy you and paint you and actually play you in real life in a serious manner, which almost never happens. So I wonder what they've done. It is summoned on a 7 and has a range of 9. And it's predatory, and it can be moved 9 and fly. After it has moved, the commanding player must pick 1 unit within 1 and roll 3 dice. For each roll that's equal to or greater than that wound characteristic, 1 model in the unit is slain. Yep. So you have 3 chances to kill a 6 wound foot hero with it, which is sweet. And then Monster of Blood. At the end of the charge phase, the commanding player can count this endless spell as a monster for the purposes of the monster's rampage rule. But they can only carry out the bad 2. And it can't be picked as the... Okay. Whatever. Another D3, I guess. Sure. I don't know what it used to cost. Step aside, Incarnate. Snake is here. Yeah. This shit's useful. It's kind of big, so it blocks a lane. It has 3 chances of swallowing foot heroes, and 3 really good chances of swallowing 3 dudes from units. Even like, you know, here's an Annihilator with 3 runes. Like, you have a highly decent chance of killing 3 of them here. 2 of them, maybe. That's cool. Monster Bloods, whatever. Okay, so I'm continuing to be honest about points, and this is an endless spell, and it is cast on a 7. And its ability is good. Can it eat Vanguard? Yes. Because you can roll a 6... You can roll a 5 or 6 on Fang Strike, and it's equal to or greater. I think I would say, so this swallows people whole, it can kill heroes, it's nice and big to block lanes. 7 is a little tricky to summon it, especially even in this army. You don't have a lot of casting bonuses, and you lost your best one. Monster of Blood ability is crap, but at least it's like 3 up, D3 mortal wounds, I guess, sometimes maybe. This ability sucks. 40 points, I think. Maybe 30, but I'm thinking 40. Yeah, 30 or 40, I think. Anything more would be overcosted. Especially for an endless spell that you might not even get out. That you might not successfully cast. You're paying points for something that you might not even use, which is just a waste, right? It actually eats your own guys if something happens. Usually not. Almost never. And your opponent has 2 chances every battle round. Sorry. Yeah, 2 chances every battle round to get rid of it. Even if they don't run a wizard. I'm thinking 40. Yep, I'm going to say 40. Nope, it's 80, because every endless spell is literally twice the price that it should be. Got it. But this one's still good. It has a useful effect. It's wickedly expensive, but maybe someone would play it. Good guesses on the 120 and 70. Good try. Now we have Blade Wind. Someone's on a 6 and it has a range of 9. Only Daughters of Khaine wizards can attempt to summon it. This endless spell is a predatory endless spell. It can move up to 12 and, ooh, big range. Nice. Okay, so you set it up 9, it can move 12. Good range. After it is moved, roll a die for each unit that has any models it passed across, and for each other unit that is within 1 at the end of the move. So it's got that double one. Ahem. On a 2-up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. In addition, do not apply the cover modifier to save rolls for attacks that target spells within 12 inches. For attacks that target units within 12. So no cover within 12, huh? Blade Wind. So it's a little easier to summon on a 6. It has a little better movement. It does basically 1 damage to some units. And no cover modifier. What would I point this at? I am assuming the minimum amount of points anything that's not 0 in the game can cost is 5. And as such, this endless spell should cost 5 points. Even 5 is a stretch. I would honestly just say 0. Like, you can include it in your army for free and you'll never use it. You'll use it 1 in 20 games maybe and take cover save and went away from someone maybe, but probably not. Yeah, I will say 0 or 5. If I'm allowed to do 0, I'll say 0, otherwise 5. This is a terrifically awful endless spell. 50. Cool. Okay, so 10 times higher than I thought. Unbelievable. Who writes these? And now, see, look, hey, you're not immune, okay? Even Daughters of Khaine is not special enough to escape the curse of endless spells. It's not just you. And now we got the Heart of Fury, which is not an endless spell. It is an invocation. It can be summoned with a prayer that has an answer value of 3 and a range of 12, big range. I don't think it moves, though. It's just chilling. It's chilling there. It's pointed for 4th edition. Oh, okay. Is it? At the start of the combat phase of this invocation is on the battlefield, the commanding player must roll a die. Okay. On a 1 through 5, so almost all the time. Until the end of the phase, subtract 1 from the damage inflicted by each successful attack targets a Daughters of Khaine unit in the commanding player's army wholly within 12 of this invocation. That is really good. That is, this is like a this is a sideboard card that you play, that you end up playing so often, you're thinking about putting it in the main. This shit is hot. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why Seraphon is the best army in the game. Statistically. Because you straight up halve damage on people that are paying way too much for essentially 1 damage now. This is a really strong effect. On a 6, until the end of that phase, subtract 1 from the damage inflicted. Okay. Wholly within 12 of the invocation, and add 1 of the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by DOK units. Wholly within, jeez. In addition, if the roll was a 6, this invocation is removed. Oh. Okay. So if it works too well, it explodes and it's gone. Okay, interesting. You're probably going to move, though, so you want to resummon it anyway, so no big deal. You actually kind of want that sometimes. No, it's the end of that phase. You want it on your opponent's turn. Never mind. What does this cost? So it's got one of the most powerful silver bullet effects in the game. That being Scaly Skin. But you do have to summon it, and it is just in one area, and it can't move, right? Your opponent can get rid of it. So let's see. Yeah, it is the combat phase, right? The effect is really strong, and the 6 effect is really, really strong. Man, the silver bullet sideboard nature makes it really hard to point. It makes this hard to point, right? Because if you're playing against... I'm just going to pull a number out. a third of the armies in the game. It does nothing and you never summon it and you wasted your points, right? But against a whole lot of armies, you get this out and it screws them so hard, right? It like 200 points screws them in a what, 12-inch radius, right? Wholly within 12 inches, so 12-inch diameter, which is a big amount of the table. Now, man, if I fairly point it for how good it is against armies it fucks over, it's unplayable, right? Because you can't spend that much for the chance of it doing something, right? How does the opponent get rid of it? So similar to how there's a dispel thing that wizards can do. There's like there's a priest version of dispel essentially that priests can do. And I think there's a hero action that allows you to pretend to be one and you can roll and get rid of it. Geez, I don't know. 50 points. 45, okay. They went low on this one, but that's probably right. Even 50 is probably too much, but I just don't know how to cost such a thing. It's either like so fucking good or kind of nothing. So yeah, honestly, here's a hot take. 45, I basically agree. Look at that. It happened. Yeah, a lot lower than I thought too. This is not bad. You could almost choose to play this, I think. That's how correctly it's pointed. Kind of incredible. In what goddamn universe? On what plane of existence? In what economy? Is Blade Wind better than Heart of Fury? If this is 50, then they think that it's literally better than Heart of Fury. How?
What's wrong with you?
How is it even possible? I feel like Illidan after the raid group busts in the Black Temple. I'm just like, how is it even possible that you think Heart of Fury is worse than Blade Wind? And you pointed appropriately. Jesus Christ. Anyway, well, I mean, hey, this shit sucks, so who cares? This shit is potentially pretty good, and it's pointed to maybe be playable. I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth over here. Gift horse? Hey, I'll take it. I will deal with these interlopers. Your duplicity. Alright, the Doc Tome is awesome. The shit's sick. Almost every subfaction slaps and points you in a direction, allowing you to play stuff that you liked and give it bonuses to make it, like, good. You can play bow snakes, you can play Khainite Shadowstalkers, you can play melee snakes, and actually that seems really good, especially with the fight after they die thing. You can play Aelves, you can play Sisters of Slaughter. You can play Morathi. You don't actually have to play Morathi, it seems, unless you're playing bow snakes, then you do. You might not be forced to play Morathi if you don't want to. You can play Cauldrons of Blood and stuff. Hey, it's a battle tome that a lot of people are probably angry at right now, but they're foolish for being angry because it should be what they want for everyone. This is how all the battle tomes should be, where basically everything is playable, most stuff is good, and there's reasonable choice to be made here. It's just sick. Yeah, it's anger from jealousy. Intimidated by the Morathi model? That's one way to put it. But I don't know. I feel like you should jump in. I'm not like a big hobby guy. I'm not very good at painting. I don't have a hobby channel or anything, Captain Paella. But if you wait until you feel like you are good enough and ready, to paint your centerpiece that you got, you know, you'll probably wait forever because you're so reasonable that you're going to stop yourself from painting anything like that. Or, you know, maybe you won't, but I'm just saying that's a danger, I guess, right? Maybe have it be the last thing that you paint in the stuff that you already own, but, you know, part of improving is tackling projects that you might not be fully ready for, but doing it anyway, and you gotta learn. You gotta learn on the fly sometimes. Sometimes you gotta jump in before you're ready. A little bit. Also, it's paint. You can paint over it, right? Paint boldly or whatever, bravely or something, I think. Vincent Bencharella has said in the past. Yeah, final thoughts. This book is sick. I wish they would write all their battle tomes like this, but they just don't. Great work, for the most part. There, you know, there's a little dinged up here and there, you know. That shit's gonna happen. Don't worry about it. The book's great. And it's a... If you wanted bow snakes nerfed, they got like a 10%. They got a little worse. They're more glass cannon now. The whole book is more glass cannon now. You lost your best durability in a sense, although there are ways to get some of it back. This is great. Hey, do this for everybody though. They've been doing a pretty decent job on 3rd edition battle tomes, I will admit, because they have. Does this change your every army in X minutes script? No, it does not. Because, Madman, remember how I said I would never future-proof? Well, I did a little bit with Daughters of Khaine.